Hello! In this video, we will be going over how to apply for the Fast Charge California project. Before we begin, I want to remind you that the application window for the Fast Charge California project will be open August 5th to October 29th, 2025. Applications will be reviewed on a first-come, first-served basis, with priority given to sites in DAC, LIC, and tribal lands. Funding is reserved once a reviewed application is confirmed to meet all minimum eligibility requirements. You can learn more about these requirements in our implementation manual here and in our document library, which can be found here. To begin applying, click on the Apply Now button at the top of the project page, which will take you to the application portal. As a reminder, if you have applied to CALeVIP 2.0 before, you can use your previous login credentials. If you have not applied to any CALeVIP 2.0 incentive projects before, please create a new account using the link at the bottom of the page and following the prompts. Please remember that any login information used for CALeVIP 1.0 will not work. Once you're logged into the portal, click on the Apply Now button at the top to begin an application. In this first section, you will identify whether you are applying on behalf of your own organization as the incentive recipient or whether you are applying on behalf of another organization that will be receiving the incentive. Next, you will provide information about the person that will be managing the application, known as the application manager. The applicant manager will be the primary contact for all rebated application communication. You will need to provide the name of the organization, select the organization type that most closely represents that organization, and provide the name and contact information for the application manager. Note that the application manager must be a representative of the applicant organization, so the organization name in this section must match that of the applicant on the site verification form. On the next page, you will provide information related to the installation site, including the site address and the site's main use and specific use. The site address you enter here must match all addresses on documents such as the site verification form, issued permit, and final utility service design. If for any reason these addresses do not match, please use the closest one to the station location for the site verification form and the application. Contact us at evexpert@energycenter.org with any questions. The main site use captures whether the site is publicly owned, like a library or a state university, or commercially owned, like a gas station or a grocery store, whereas the specific use is used to determine whether the current primary use of the site is eligible for a funding reservation. So be sure to select the specific use that best aligns with the site's current primary use. If there is no site use option that is appropriate for your site, it may not be eligible for funding. Next, you will need to provide the name and contact information for the property owner of the site, including the type of entity that the property owner is. Be sure that the information for the property owner here matches the name of the property owner provided on the site verification form. Finally, you will need to enter your power provider's name here. The application form only lists the 20 largest power providers in California, so if your power provider is not available, please use the other option. In the second part of the installation details section, you will need to answer some additional questions about the site. First, you will need to identify whether your installation is on tribal land, and if so, identify the name of the tribe involved. Then, there are 5 fields with drop-down options you will need to select from. What is the installation type? Who will own the EVSE? What is the owner's relationship to the site? What type of equipment will be installed? And whether the DCFC will be publicly available. Note that the selection for the publicly available question will be used to evaluate your site's eligibility. All site types except primary use of parking lot and parking garages are required to be publicly available 24/7. Sites that are primary use parking lots and garages, meaning they're dedicated for public parking, only need to be publicly available 18 hours a day, excluding holidays. Lastly, you will need to identify the name of the organization that will be responsible for the daily operation and maintenance of the charging station. In this section, you will detail the specific charger make model configuration that you're planning on using. Keep in mind that each list item is for a specific configuration of a dispenser make model, and in some cases depend on how many ports are connected to the bank of power cabinets. If you have any questions about how to fill this section out correctly, please contact us at evcharging@energycenter.org. Please select a configuration from the list, which will auto-populate the number of ports considered eligible for FCCP. You will then need to confirm your connector selection. Keep in mind that this is per dispenser. Finally, you will select the number of dispensers you are planning to install with the specific configuration you have defined, the installation type of the dispenser, and what network service provider these will be on. If you have multiple dispenser configurations, you will need to use the Add Equipment button and repeat the process for each additional configuration. Please ensure that you're installing at least 4 ports to be eligible for a funding reservation. If you are installing J3400 connectors, at least 50% of connectors on site must be CCS. Additionally, if the charger you are selecting is not on the list, contact us at evcharging@energycenter.org to ensure that your charger is or soon will be eligible. Please do this as soon as possible because you will be required to demonstrate that the equipment has been ordered within 90 days of a funding reservation being made for your application. Additionally, if you install a charger that is not deemed eligible at the time of final payment, you may not be eligible for an incentive payment. Finally, once you have entered in all equipment you will install, you may click Save and Continue. Based on the equipment power level and CCS and J3400 charging ports identified, an estimated maximum incentive amount will be provided to you. Verify that this meets your expectations and click Continue. In this section, you will provide information on who will be receiving the incentive at the end of the project. You will fill in who the organization is, including the organization type, its relationship to the site, and its tax ID number. You'll also provide the business address and information about the point of contact. Note that the incentive recipient identified here is the entity that must incur and pay for all costs to be reimbursed by the incentive payment. Finally, you will provide the information for your preferred payment method of ACH or a check. Once past the incentive recipient section, you will upload the required documents, including copies of your issued permit, final utility service design, and a site verification form. You can find the site verification form in the document library mentioned in the beginning of the video. On the right of each document, you can click on View Sample Documents, which will open an example of the document that should be submitted for each document slot. After the documents are uploaded, you can click Save and Continue. Once you do, the documents can no longer be edited, so ensure that the uploaded documents are correct. However, if for some reason you need to update the documents, you may upload additional documents. In the next section, you will need to read through the terms and conditions thoroughly and check the box to attest that you have read them and that the property owner, site owner, applicant, incentive recipient, and collaborators agree to be bound by them. You can also find the terms and conditions in the document library first mentioned in the video. From here, you will have a final opportunity to review your application before submitting. If you're ever not ready to complete or submit your application in a single sitting, please make use of the Save and Exit button on the bottom right here. You will be able to return to your application from your dashboard at any time. If you ever need help with your application or want someone to look over your application, you can request application assistance found here at the top of the page. You can request application assistance by pressing this button, and a team member will reach out to you within 2 business days. Thank you, and good luck with your application.